Hey guys, I have a question. Have you ever attended a wedding where you found out later that the couple was already married? Has that ever happened to you where, you get the invitation, they're already shacking up, but whatever, right? Your times have changed. No big deal. The wife or the bride-to-be wants to wear white, right? It isn't like it used to be, right? So you get the invitation, you find out where they're registered. Of course, it's all over the invitation where they're registered. You travel, maybe even you fly in for the occasion, or you drive for a day and a half or a day or whatever to get there. Get the hotel rooms, right? You line it up with your other family members. It's a big deal, right? Time to celebrate, time to be there for that special day. And then about 6 months later, you find out the truth that they were already married. Well, that happened to me one time. And I felt betrayed. There were many of us who traveled from far, far away for the big day that it turns out actually happened months prior. It leaves you with this sense of like, ew. And it kind of makes you want to say, you know what? Maybe everyone should get a refund on those hotel rooms. I mean, if you want to go elope for whatever reason, and then you want to have your big, pretend pageant, then say so. Say, hey guys, we're married. But you know what? We really want to go ahead and have a formal wedding where we can have all of our family and friends there with us to share the day with us. Then that's honest, right? That's still kind of weird, but it's honest. And then people can decide, okay, yeah, that'd be kind of neat to go and to share that day. But there'd be authenticity to the day instead of this hype of, can't see the bride before the wedding. Oh, can't see the wedding dress. No, they were. Yeah, when you're already married. I mean, come on. Or better yet, if you don't want to tell everyone that you eloped and that you're already married, then make it very clear on your invitation, no gifts. No gifts, please. You see what I'm saying? Even then, you got people traveling from far away. Seems to me you should be honest about it. Because what happens when you pull something like that is people who do feel duped when they find out the truth have kind of this gnawing feeling that you're someone who just shouldn't be trusted. That's how that works. Well, I got to thinking about something because when this case was first being discussed back in 2018, like I'm talking September, October, November, December of 2018, there was a big stink about how Christopher Watson and his wife were married for 8 years. They were married for 8 years. They had an 8-year marriage. Yep, they were married for 8 years. Well, then, a few of us, and I say us, kind of like the way Kim always says we, a few people in the discussion groups said, wait a minute, they did a little simple math and said they weren't married 8 years. They weren't even married 6 years. They were married 5.5 years. So why on earth is everyone running around throwing the number 8 all over the place? And I'm not saying that they knew each other 8 years or that they were saying that they, started dating 8 years ago. That's not what I'm saying. They were very clearly saying they were married for 8 years. They had an 8-year marriage. And then, like I said, a few people did a little simple math and figured out it was 5.5 years since the day they got married. Well, I told you how people send me screenshots, right? So they're sending me screenshots about how a lot of people, including family members, are again saying the same statements that were made back in 2018. We've seen that even in our comment threads, haven't we? A lot of the same, what I call the scripts, right? That they were married for 8 years. That their wedding, evidently, I guess the claim was actually 8 years before August of 2018, which would have made it August 10th, which would have made it August of 2010. And yes, they went on their first date on August 10th of 2010. That's what we're told. Well, you know how when you're driving is a good time to think, right? To kind of like wonder about stuff and think about stuff. And sometimes when you're driving, especially those longer drives, you're going, wait a minute, didn't think about that before. But think about it. Why are the family members even saying they were married 8 years? Why, back in 2018, for 4 months straight, did we hear it over and over again that they had an 8-year marriage? They were married 8 years. It's even in some of the news articles that they were married for 8 years. Of course, it's in some of the news articles that Bella was 3 and that Christopher Watts confessed to killing his children back, on, I think the news articles were dated like August 16th of 2018. So, of course, we know that a lot of the information in those news articles was flawed. But in the news articles, we're told they were married for 8 years. Family members have said they were married for 8 years. For 4 months straight in 2018, it seemed like everybody was saying they were married for 8 years. So I'm kind of wondering, were they married for 8 years? Remember how we're told that Christopher Watts' wife quit her job a few weeks after she met him? Well, ask yourself, I guess, if you're on the dating scene and you've got a heavy-duty mortgage to pay, and you meet a guy who has excellent credit and a good income stream, and he pays his bills and he has a savings account on top of it all, are you going to quit your job in a few weeks? Or are you maybe going to let him know that he's the love of your life and that you want to get married fast? And then you quit your job. I don't know. But I do know this. I know that there were incidents in that first couple of years, especially leading up to what we have been told was the wedding, and I think it was December of 2012. But there were incidents between August 10th of 2010 and December of 2012, which would lead many of us to say, why didn't Christopher Watts put on his running shoes and go out for a run and keep on running? And I'm just saying that maybe in his mind, it was already too late. One more thing that I thought about while I was driving that just seemed to fit if, in fact, they were, as we're being told over and over again, married for 8 years, would be how that impulsive decision to marry very quickly would be fitting for what Christopher Watts' father said in his interview when he said that he believes that, in his opinion, that his daughter-in-law was bipolar. Give it some thought. Think about that wedding. Think about how the focus of all of the harassment and the attacks against Cindy Watts have been all about that wedding. Think about how I keep saying that, in my opinion, Cindy Watts knows a lot more than she has said so far. And how, in my opinion, that the basis for the attacks against her is with the hope that when she does speak, that she will have been so discredited by then that nobody will believe a word she says. Think about that wedding. Think about firing his sister from the bridal party, and the ring bearer, and the flower girl, and the cousin's first wife. Think about how just a handful, 3 people, maybe 4 people, I don't know, attended from his side of the family. I don't know. What do you guys think? I guess if they're going to keep insisting that they were married for 8 years, maybe we should just believe them.